wrapping up on this small little line we've been looking at, piece of biblical commentary out of New Church Theology that talks about sort of God abiding with us. What is God's part with us? And it is a fascinating little list, and it's just a little list. You can find a million other lists. All those lists are really interesting. We've just been looking at this one. Please don't see it as all inclusive or covering everything. It doesn't. It just is to give us food for thought. And so much of the spiritual life is to get us to think, and then to move those thoughts into action. Those actions become new thoughts. So that's kind of the righteous circuit of spiritual knowledge, I think. So today what I want to talk about is this idea of being gratitude. So let's put that into context. So we've been looking at these three things that are the ways God abides in us or with us, and that hopefully moves through us. One is innocence, which is that inmost, that deep, deep, deep unwounded part, oftentimes covered over by layer upon layer upon layer of wounds, but deep within is that unwounded part. The second part is loving kindness or charity. That when we carry loving kindness out there in the world, when we really work at being kind, and a very famous quote out of New Church Theology is, "What else is a life of worship but a life of kindness?" When we really learn to live that, right, that's a very important thing, a very significant thing, right? So that's that loving kindness. And the last part is mercy, which we looked at yesterday. Womb-like mother love, as Walter Brueggemann would define it. Beautiful definition, very powerful. And today, what I want to talk about is when we get all three of those going, like what can happen. Well, so much of the journey of life is this movement, just at a 20,000-foot level, away from selfishness to selflessness. Doesn't mean we don't have a self. It just means we're not that worried about it anymore. We're not into our image anymore. We're really trying to work at allowing God to work through us. We're really trying to connect. That's what that's all about. The challenge, of course, in that journey is that we're all selfish, and when we start from that, it just makes life a lot easier. We'll go, oh yeah, pretty selfish a lot of the time, and just acknowledge that. And the challenge with selfishness or self-centeredness is that it automatically sets us against the world. It becomes my view. Everyone else then becomes sort of a bit player in my drama, in my play. They inevitably will not play the roles that I want them to play or say the things that I want. I mean, I'll give them the script, but somehow they don't follow it. And that journey is really significant, right? Because we learn that won't work. And it's the same with the conditions of life. They just aren't going to yield to our desires every time. And folks, the beauty of that, right, is that then we really, really do learn that that's where problems originate. Like, just think about that. Of course, that's where problems originate. Problems originate when I have this expectation out there that somebody follow my script and they don't do it. Well, that's a problem. Or that life follows my script for the different parts of life. Well, that doesn't happen. That's a problem. It's interesting, right? When we can start to look at that, and then we bring these things to bear of innocence, loving kindness, and mercy. We start to bring those to life and allow those to move through, and the selflessness that comes along with those. All of a sudden, we're not really trying to control other people. We're not trying to control all of life's circumstances. That doesn't mean that there aren't parts of life circumstances that we want to work at, or work to control, or work to improve. Like, that's all good, but it's coming from a far different place. When we come from that different place, I think gratitude really shifts, because then instead of gratitude becoming this list out there, gratitude because somehow life circumstances did align with what I wanted, or other people did align with what I wanted to do, which will happen on occasion, sometimes beautifully so. Welcome to doing a wedding. I love doing weddings. Any of that can be a really good thing. But when this movement starts to happen of just these things moving through our life, instead of it being the list out there, it becomes the being in here. Instead of listing gratitude, I just become gratitude. I become gratitude because I'm just in it. I'm just in it, and God is flowing through me. And one of the ways we know God's really working through us is things like joy, gratitude. I mean, the list could go on there, and really getting that gratitude is it. I was thinking, a difference might be this, folks. The difference might be between seeing a gratitude journal and understanding the gratitude journey. Gratitude journal, beautiful way to like list all the things you're grateful for. And maybe we can see that as like learning the scales on the piano. I'm going to learn the scales. I'm going to learn to do that. I'm going to learn to pay attention. And then what we want to do is then we want to have that journal become our journey, that we're really going to journey from a place of gratitude. And when we do that, wonder, curiosity, all kinds of beautiful things happen as God's love starts to flow through us. And again, that's a really enlivened faith. It's a hard place to be there. I got to be frank. I don't know a lot of people who I feel like function from that, but I certainly have experienced a few. I certainly struggle with that, but it's again, it's progress, not perfection. It's about setting out the ideal and then seeing how close we can get to it. How can we start to align ourselves more and more? Something tells me we'll find more and more of God's love that way. So, folks, that's the close on this. So, as you're looking at these three ways that God abides in us: innocence, loving kindness, and mercy. One list among many possible lists. Think about how that moves through and start to see gratitude instead of from the outside in. Maybe today you can just do this. You can see gratitude from the inside out. In other words, where we're going to be gratitude and then work into life and just see what shows up for you, because instead of just being a journal, then I think it becomes a journey. So that's the thought for today, friends. I hope that makes a lot of sense in terms of being gratitude. And what we're going to do now as we go into the weekend is this. We're going to slow down a little bit. I'm going to ask us all to take a breath. Then I'm going to ring a prayer bell. You just listen to it until it's done ringing. Let it clear your head. And then after we hear the prayer bell, what we're going to do is we're going to do a little meditation, a little prayer, a little blessing, and then have a little chat on social media if you care to leave a comment on our Facebook page. So, friends, with that, let's get a little breath. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's take a look. Take a look what folks have to say here. And I hope everyone has a great weekend ahead. I think it'll be. I certainly do. I'm looking forward to it. Got a wedding this weekend. Had a very moving funeral yesterday, memorial service for a wonderful human being, and then a beautiful wedding, and it all very precious. Kim, good morning to you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Mandy, good morning to you. I hope life is good. Patricia, always love to see that heart out there. Marcus, good morning to you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Martha, Good morning, and good morning to you as well. Melissa writes, "Happy Friday. Gratitude journey has definitely helped me live with gratitude within. So beautiful." Yeah, it is. It is fascinating, right? We're trying to create these loops. I mean, Melissa, there's this beautiful quote in New Church Theology, which is, "What is angelic? There's a walking in the way from a knowledge of it, and a knowledge of the way from walking in it." In other words, like it's just the way. It's funny the way, revelation, quote unquote, and experience wrap together. It's the same. Like we learn to journal, we do something physical, and then that inevitably will lead to a certain experience, and that experience circles right back into what we know. Kind of a cool circle. Kim writes, "It really does make sense." Well, I am glad. And Sherry, have a weekend full of gratitude. Amen to that. All righty. Let's hop over on these other ones. And by the way, thank you folks very much for leaving comments. Deeply appreciate all that. All right, another batch of comments here. Linda, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Rick, good morning from Vidalia, Georgia, home of the famous Vidalia onions. I don't know whether you're trucking with any of those, Rick, or not, but great to have you joining us. Sherry, have a great day. Thank you. Same to you, my friend. Rick, totally agree with that. Have a great weekend, Commerce. Jeff writes, "Grateful for the breath of life." So true. Oh, Roland, so good to see you, my good Pocono Mountain buddy. Roland writes, "Good morning, Coach. Thanks for doing these." No problem, bud. And proud of you and proud of all you're doing. So there's my little bit of gratitude for the morning. So God bless, folks. Wishing you all the best. Take care. Have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye-bye.